All right, let's dive into it.
That's the story of the game, the penalties.
Yes. And that is our first main topic on this show. And when I watch a team like that, and it really, for me, it starts with a Kerfoot penalty there that is a little uncharacteristic of Kerfoot.
For sure. It's not like a thing he does.
Okay, so why is it a thing that he does? Because now the emotions have gone to another level.
Yeah.
We're in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Every game feels like do or die. You win game one, you're on top of the world, you're chasing, and it feels like the end of the world for hockey players. This, to me, when I see the bad penalties and some of them that are uncharacteristic, like a Kerfoot penalty or a Nylander penalty 200 feet from your goalie where he's trying to go in, make contact, ends up tripping somebody or slew footing.
Yeah, I kicked out Belmar's legs.
This, for me, all these bad penalties are a byproduct of taking the focus on what your strengths are as a hockey club. And I want to go back to that whole thing about we expect to be a violent series, and you're getting them a little bit off what they are.
Yeah, I think in trying to prepare them, that happened.
And what was the one thing that was abundantly clear in game one that we didn't see in game two? For me, it was the speed.
Okay, yeah.
The drop off of we're a way faster team.
Yeah. I didn't think Engvall and McKay, of the speedy guys, were effective.
They didn't speed.
The unspeedy.
I get that you want them to be tough. You want to stand up for each other. You don't want to sit there and eat your crap sandwiches from them. But you are not a team that can go shoulder to shoulder with any team in the league. It's not your style. Yeah. It's not your focus. It's not your game.
I think the idea, they set out to brace themselves. Keefe set out to brace the team. There's going to be this push. There's going to be this element of the series. But at the same time, it can't become the focus of the series when that's not your strength.
Like in Kerfoot, there's no odd numbers.
Yeah.
You're going there and you're so wound up. Kerfoot's so wound up on the back check that he's thinking he's got to get a piece of somebody. And it's like there's no piece to be taken. You are behind somebody. The only thing that you're going to end up doing is hooking, tripping, holding, or whatever the case is. But you are not in a position to make any contact with this player.
What's hard is it was a combination thing. So last night the Leafs take 7 penalties. In
a row.
In a row. Well, yeah. I think there's one in the middle. There's a Belmar one in the middle. Just looking at
7 consecutive calls, weren't there?
I've got it as 4 and then 3 with a breakup in the middle. But
what was the penalty? I thought it was
Belmar
7 straight.
holding against Marner in the second period with 4 minutes left in the second.
Okay.
Anyway, 7 penalties for the Leafs. They average 3.5 penalties per game throughout the regular season. So this is not who they are because of things you're talking about, but also a little ticky-tack in the officiating for me. Like the Giordano one where he puts his hand on Hagel's shoulder and Hagel gets shot. The Labushkin call.
The Gio penalty, I can almost live with because then you're, as an official, once you take your hand off your stick and you start reaching over people's shoulders, whatever that case is, you are flirting with fire. You let that one go, then you got to let the next one go against Tampa Bay, and now you're in a heap of mess. That one, I sense what you're saying. Seems a little ticky-tacky, a little cheap, but that one you don't want that image to get away from you.
Sure.
Yeah.
The Labushkin was god-awful. It was horrible. When points going through and still ending up with a puck and not missing a beat because of whatever Labushkin did to his...
tried to lift his stick and that was
it didn't affect his forecheck at all.
No.
Still got to the puck first. Yeah. Still got plenty of time to make a play. That one was horrible.
So seven times shorthanded, and then the PK, looked like a totally different group from the day before. And I think the difference fundamentally is we didn't see Tampa's power play get set up in game one. Like last night, their power play breakout was so good, their entries were so good, and they got set up. all of a sudden you get Kucherov on the flank getting 300 touches throughout the game. And that was the difference in the first game is their penalty kill was so good, Tampa Bay wasn't able to get set up.
Or the Leafs penalty kill was so good.
Yes.
Right?
Leafs penalty kill was so good in the first game.
So good.
I mean, they were all over them. And then last night, Tampa makes an adjustment or two. A credit to Cooper. We had, who was it? Andrechuk, who was on our show talking about good? Who?
Steve Thomas.
Yeah,
Zombie.
Steve Thomas talking about how good Cooper is at adjustments. They made a couple. They got into the zone set up, and all of a sudden it's Hedman and Kucherov playing catch, and the PK's floundering at that point.
So you just were mentioning Keefe talking about the borderline violence comments before the series, and I think the point is great about sort of riling up his own team and getting his own team kind of off their game, which is not the sort of violent side of it. But how much of those comments do you think has weighed on the refs? Like I've watched other series and it's not the same standard.
It was better than game one, I thought.
You thought that
the officiating
was better last night than game one?
Yes.
I just felt like there's just so much called, and you can never let these two teams get into a great rhythm. Like, there's a part of me that's just kind of like, can we see these guys play 5-on-5 for a stretch of hockey here? They're two excellent teams. You're kind of hurting the product here.
But after game one, you thought it might have been in favor of the Leafs, and now you're not sure.
Yeah, but I even felt that same way in game one, where it was just so choppy and like, great. It was great the Leafs won. I was thrilled they won, but the stuff that was getting called, it's like,
120 minutes.
Let her rhythm go here.
They've only played 70, 75 minutes of 5-on-5 hockey through 120, which is not. And the Leafs have controlled the play. They've led in expected goals over that time. They've been good. I think we had the Leafs are outscoring Tampa Bay 5-2 at even strength. But that's a problem here, Kyper, is that their power play, the Leafs power play that finished first in the NHL, you guys had that stat. What were they doing in the final 10 games? Like 14% or something?
14.7.
14.7.
And we brought that up. We said
it's a problem.
It's a cold power play.
1 for 10 now. And the only one they have is 5-on-3.
I'm with you.
It's a concern.